Okay, so just to kind of introduce some things and kind of play around, what I thought it would be kind of fun with is that we actually add a customer. So why doesn't somebody give me a scenario, and we'll kind of walk through it, and then we'll even let you guys jump in there and play as if you're doing your own thing, and maybe we'll let you add a couple customers and make either a quote for them or an invoice, just something to that effect. So dealing with customers, do we want to pretend like we're selling something, or just kind of putting a customer in and then going to log them? What's the scenario?
The scenario for this would be adding the customer and actually having their pre-order if we want to count.
Okay, great.
Since it's, it is kind of a retail store.
Okay.
People do kind of do a bulk order.
Okay.
Started and then,
Okay.
Put them on account application like that.
Okay, great. And are they getting all the product right now, or is that going to kind of come later as well?
I think we're going to pull it and set it aside. How about that?
Okay, as soon as you say that, Santiago, we need to turn on some permissions for that transitional invoice, okay? Because if not, what actually happens is we can create the invoice like that in a heartbeat. But if we start saying, well, I'm not totally going to fill it right now and I might do it later, that to me sounds, it's an instant flag. It's like, transition, like kind of layaway or work in progress.
Or we can push it up and it's still on the counter.
Okay, that's no problem.
Easier so we don't have to go back and change any permissions.
Perfect. Do we want to start by building the cart, or do we want to start by building the customer? Is it customer first? Not a problem. Let's go with the last name.
I'm going to say Smith.
Smith? SMI? I don't even usually go that far out. I don't usually try to go 3 to 4 characters. If I go much more than that, I'm typing too much, okay?
I think you do
I'm
this.
just click on.
Check the customer.
So the first thing you do is you check the customer. I didn't find anything under SMIT. So I'm going to say add the new customer, and we're going to just keep them under a normal customer. You can create as many types as you need to. By default, we load in one called normal. So the first name, let's go ahead and call him Johnny. How about that?
Okay. I was thinking Will.
No problem. Watch this.
Get jiggy with it.
Will Smith, huh? He's going to be the rapper and the Men in Black, huh? So why don't we do that? We'll put him at 101 Men in Black.
What other types of customer types do you have besides?
I currently have normal only. Like,
Oh,
so watch this. Watch this. That was a great question, Paul. And so we haven't really done anything. I'm not going to lose anything. Watch this. I'm going to go to this, and if I have the admin permission, I'll have this link right here that says Manage Customer Types. Once again, the word customer is a corp-wide setting, okay? So it can flip. So if I click on this, I can actually determine normal is what we give you by default, okay? You can literally add as many as you want. Say you wanted farmers.
Well, I got in my have this optical warrant prospect sold.
Sure.
Available, we have a bunch of customer types.
Okay, I just added a couple, but it's very, very easy to add as many as you want, okay? So basically, watch this. We started from the main homepage, but now I'm going to, I'm just going to use a quick search. I'm going to do the same thing. SM. I'm just going to go, what do I have under SM? Nothing. Okay, add that same customer. Now, because we added these types, I now have those types loaded into my drop-down. Okay, so that's how that works. You do have to have the admin permission to load this, but not to use it. Like anybody can use it if you have a customer permission. You have to have admin to make that list of what your prospect types are, okay, or what your client types are. So let's just pretend that this guy here, he's a farmer, and we'll go Will Smith again.
Oh, he's not in there yet.
Oh, no, I stopped halfway through.
So I'm changed to the reader today either. He's rebuilding the computer for me.
Great. Let's pretend that we have a phone number for this as well. The more information you add, the more information that will eventually be able to be looked up. Also, your phone number is searchable through the quick search, okay? I put 555-444-333. Watch this. After we add this guy, we can actually go and look him up through his email, or through his phone number as well if we needed to, okay? Tons of different dates and fields. Like often when we're doing training, we're like, boom, let's go quickly through this. But if you slow down enough, you're like, oh, wow. This one right here, these next four, These are all dynamic. You can actually name these whatever you want. They do have date fields, but it doesn't have to be customer start date. It could be VIP status date or bronze status date or whatever it might be. Like, it doesn't make a bit of difference. The one that is special is this membership expiration date. Once again, you can still change the name of it, but if you do put an actual date in this one and the date gets passed, it'll show up in red. Okay, like just to show you for a second, watch this. What if we put 10/1 of 13, which is actually, it's already been passed, okay? Once it shows up and that date is past that, it'll actually show up in red. So often that's kind of like, say you had a membership or you had a...
It works great with the MMJ.
They have their red card expiration dates, etc.
When they expire, it will notify you within the system you go to their account that it's in red and you can't serve it.
Awesome, correct. This is also another one that is totally customizable. Right now it says customer tax ID. You can actually change the name of this to be whatever you needed. So if you had a special piece of the puzzle, you could change it at any point in time. You can set up terms. You can assign salespersons. You can do whatever you want it to do. We're going to say that Will Smith is a male, and we're going to go ahead and add his customer. Just so you can kind of see what happens right here. So you'll notice right here, there's not a whole lot of red inside of Adilas unless there's a specific reason for it. But this one here, if the date is behind the actual date, it'll show up in red in any of your searches. So watch this. Say I just did a normal search again for Smith. It's going to show up in red here as well, okay? In multiple places. If I actually start a new cart for him, guess what? It's going to show up in red again. Like, it's constantly like, hey, just so you know, this is passed, this is passed, this is passed. We don't stop you from doing anything, but we're trying to help you know kind of what's going on. Once we actually change it, like if I were to go back to Will Smith's here, right here, and I just flipped his date to something that was actually valid, say like 11/1 of 13, and I hit edit, right here, basically when I come back to the shopping cart, it now pulls it in, it's no longer red. It's basically a small little flag. That is one special date that does have a special flag on it, okay? And it's the expiration date. So cool, we have Will Smith in here, and what did he want to buy? Santiago, what did this guy want to buy?
He wanted to buy kind of one of those starter kits.
Okay, no problem. Kid, how many did he want?
3.
3 of them, no problem. So straight retail, usually you just use this little add box right here, okay? If you wanted to do something crazy, this is the advanced add to cart, the double plus sign, okay? Boom, just add it. It pulls it right in here to the cart, and he's good to go. What else did he want?
He also wanted a large bag of fertilizer.
Okay. Manure, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So just one large bag,
Yes.
$10.75. Cool. Alrighty. So basically, this is called basic searching. Yes, Paul.
He's tax exempt because it's for a business.
Okay, no problem. Watch this. Click, and how about we just call it so he's going to resell this.
Resell, yeah.
Okay, no problem. You literally go resell, and you go like this. Update cart, make it stick. Now watch what happened to my taxes. Okay, we totally backed them all out. Now it's important. If you're doing tons and tons of stuff in the shopping cart, I'm going to highly recommend this help file. Okay, it does look a little lengthy, but basically this is the interface in between. Watch this. If I go right here, so your customer, the shopping cart is the interface to allow the customer to interact with the rest of the piece of the puzzle. Okay, if your shopping cart is gone, it's really tough to kind of build and like what's going to happen. This is the interface. Okay. So this help file may look a little bit long, but this actually goes into like showing a bunch of different things. Getting things into the cart, there's tons of different ways, and it kind of talks about it, okay? It comes down and says barcodes and scanners. How do we work with barcodes and barcode scanners? Some of the page navigation options. Your cart logic and saving carts. So this is like dealing with quotes versus invoices. You come down, selling time. If you're actually selling elements of time, you can pull it right into a shopping cart, no problem. Customers, they're not required, but you can pull them into a customer, like into the cart. Different invoice types, it goes through all the different invoice types, whether it's the wholesale cart builder, the transfer, the internals, whatever it might be. Adding stock units, the big ticket items. Like, I realize this might look like kind of a big help file. This is the interface between the customer and what's going on. How to apply a discount. shows you 3 different ways to apply a discount, okay? So basically, this particular help file is a high recommendation as far as a reading one. Yes, Cheryl?
Just a question. I was just having a thought about that expiration date. I want someone to sign a disclaimer before, for me, so like if I put the date that I entered it, then it would show up in red. I mean, so I could use it that way where it showed up in red. And is that a corp-wide setting I can change, or I could just use that? Because what I was thinking is until they sign the disclaimer, I can put the date that I entered it, and then I would know they hadn't signed the disclaimer, and then I just take the date off as soon as they've signed the disclaimer.
You can
So I can choose it anyway, but it isn't a corp-wide setting. It will always stay membership expiration date, but I would use it anyway.
Literally, that particular date, and just because it's so cool, like if you have special need for it, you can literally go change the name.
I
You
could,
wouldn't even
okay.
have to. We're currently in the cart right here, and I changed it so it's 11/1 right now. Okay. Basically, if you need that special date, you can do it. But what's very important, we try to document this kind of stuff. But watch this. If I go back into the log for Will, and then I hit edit. Oh, how funny! Who's playing here? This is hilarious. Mario. That's hilarious. Somebody's having way too much
I
fun.
think there's one on Shannon also.
What's that?
There's one on Shannon also.
Oh, is it one on Shannon? How funny, how funny. So anyway, you guys are having way too much fun.
We need to see that smile.
We did need to see that smile. That's good.
Those ears.
Yeah. Awesome. So watch this. If I go into edit customer, what I wanted to show you is that right here, it goes down and looks like it's just a normal page. We literally try to document as much as we can. So if you were to click help right here, and you go down to the thing that said your membership expiration date, it tries to tell you, hey, just so you know, here's what's going to happen, and da-da-da-da-da. And it tries to tell you that, like, if you just get rid of the date, it'll disappear, and it does this, but you can rename it, and like it's trying to help you out. Okay, I realize it may feel like a lot of reading, but it's kind of hard to just have somebody right next to you talking over your shoulder. So what we do is we bury it into a help file, and then it kind of goes from there. So.
Okay.
One of the other pieces of the puzzle I wanted to show you was just as we're talking about that expiration date. Watch this. If I go home, and I come over here, and I go manage the corp info and settings, and I say go into my corp-wide settings, I can actually scroll down until I get to my customer pieces of the puzzle here. Right here, membership expiration date. What would you like to call it, just for fun?
Disclaimer signed.
Okay. That actually sounds to me like it'd be better as a flex grid piece.
Okay.
But that's okay.
How about expired ID?
Okay.
Okay, something like that?
Or ID dates or something like that?
Yeah, like literally you can name these things whatever you want, okay? And there's a number of them that we allow you to do it, okay? The customers have a bunch of pieces. Look at this. You have what's the name, what do you want to call it, what's the abbreviation. What we do here is sometimes when we pull reports, what if you had something that was really long here, okay? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just want it to be shortened to this for like a shortened version. What do you want to name this field? This allows up to this and this and this. Like, what do you want to call this date field, this date field? These are all customer type settings. Do you want to set a default terms? Like, that's if you're applying credit often to the people, like allowing them to do things on account. So right here where we put ID date, watch this. I'll just scroll down to the bottom or hit Control-N, which takes me there, and say Save Settings. So now if I go back, watch this. I can even go back here right to the let's go to the customer photo gallery, the customer log, and I'll just hit. So right now I haven't refreshed my screen, but as soon as I hit refresh, what it basically does is it changes that date. Okay. You have to realize once you play with settings, settings cascade. Okay. So most of your settings are on this kind of a level. Okay. You do a setting here, it cascades for your whole world. Okay. You just do a single little piece of flex grid, you're technically saying, I'm going to take one individual and I'm going to add just a single piece of flex grid to them. Okay? But a setting is from the world down. Okay? That's kind of how that works. Okay, great. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that little small piece of the puzzle right there for that. Okay? So cool, we have this little cart here, and we kind of got slightly sidetracked, but we have pumpkin starter kit and a bag of manure, and we flipped it to resale, and then we're good to go. So Paul and Santi, anything else that we wanted to sell to Will?
Yeah, he came in with a 10% discount card.
Oh, great, great. Now, are we going to discount everything on the card or just one of the items?
It's just a 10% off of.
No problem. So check this out. We haven't dealt with discounts yet, but this might help you out right here. If I want to do cart as a whole, I'm going to come up here to the top. I have to have at least one item in the cart before this link will even show up. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to give a 10% discount. Calculate it. It's going to tell me what it's going to come out to be. So he's going to get $7 off. I can now modify this description if I want.
Say 7 punch holes.
What was that? 7 punch holes?
Yeah, and 813. Or 810% off. So, the reason why I brought this up is I got a great email from you guys since we were able to do our discounts. And I know you haven't got to that point quite yet to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's under the Fred Flintstone, right? Under Bob Marley.
Um,
What I'm talking about
Which one?
for the discounts and or the
Oh, as a button, so it applies as a button type thing?
Steve sent me the email and I was playing with it. And I was just talking to my wife today about it.
Okay.
And it's under the Bob Marley Fred Flintstone, and then you go to the paperwork.
Oh, okay. So yeah. He's talking about customer reward points.
Rewards.
Yeah, reward points and stuff. And so what's happening, and this is kind of fun, like some people look at Adilas now, oh my goodness, it has so much. But why don't you tell me which piece you'd carve out of here, okay? Like you just can't. Like, and then the funny thing is even what you're talking about, reward points and, like these gift cards and marketing, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. So like some people are like, oh my goodness, don't you have enough? And the thing is that like the industry keeps driving it forward as far as what people need. So we just kind of have to keep playing with it.
And one of the things I get, and just to stay on the subject, is I get a lot of my clients that tell me it's so overwhelming. There's so much that I don't know where to start. And the only thing I tell them is, don't overwhelm yourself. Let's start at the beginning, and then just put A, B, and C together. So E, F, and G works.
Yep.
Because otherwise, if you start skipping and jumping around, you're going to start missing pieces, and you're going to have holes in your system.
That is correct. It is very big and flexible, and sometimes that is a two-edged sword. What we're trying to do, and this is our goal, okay, we are actually trying to make it one more step complicated so that we can simplify, okay? Like right now, if you were to be like, oh, I want this and I want this, that's a full custom build. If we go a little bit further and we add some more settings, and then we're like, okay, cool, guess what? I can only show you this. Like we already play with settings in huge ways and manners, but like we call it inline custom code. It's just a way of kind of like, we basically have to say each page, what do I want to show, hide, not show, what do I want it to look like, and then allow them to kind of dictate that. So basically they can, through a point-and-click interface, they can build their own little piece of the puzzle. Okay? When we get into elements of time, we'll actually show you a build interface where you can be like, this is what I want, this is what I want to call it, the end. And you basically get to say, which pieces do I want? So that's kind of a prep step for kind of where we're headed so that people can actually do this with everything. So that's kind of what's going on. So great, we did apply a 10% discount around the board. Just so you know, if I actually change something and say that, oh, you know what, I actually want 4 of these, this 10% discount does not know that it's supposed to update itself, okay? It won't do that. I would basically go like this. I would probably just say, remove, do it again, type thing. That's how I would do it, okay? Okay, correct. Good call. So watch here. We'll just go like this, and we'll set that to resell as well, and we'll hit update. What it is normally your discounts, you do want it taxable because then basically it reverses the tax that you would have charged on that other item. Okay, so that's actually what's going on there. But great call, Paul. I love how that's very observant. That's very observant. Also, just so you know, you see how I had to kind of flip each one of these little things one by one? If you have only 3 items or anything less than 3 items, you have to do it one by one. If you have multiple items, we actually add a bulk flip of the tax category. But it's kind of like, I'll make you do it one by one if you only have 3 of them. If you start getting tons and tons and tons, then all of a sudden, okay, I'll let's see if we can flip this thing faster.
And can we make it to where the customer, when that customer comes in, it's automatically, we don't have to keep doing the tax?
Okay, so what that does right here is, that's a great question, okay? Now, we have had this request multiple times, but what I need to do is I need to say, we play in multiple states, okay? And so, matter of fact, the state of Texas is one of our big problem childs, okay? in one way. So basically what they do is you can set somebody to farm use or government or something like this, but they still have to, certain taxes, even they're not exempt from, so it's like, oh, got it, like, you can't just roll it as a blanket statement. So what we do on this particular field is you could set it to get yourself as a reminder, okay? And so what happens is here's how the reminders work.
Would that be a flex grid?
No, it's not a flex grid, but watch this. This particular tax category is actually held right on his log, okay? So we're going to go to Will Smith's, and watch this. He's currently under taxable. So if I wanted to, I could set edit customer, and I can go down here and find his tax category right here, and I could set it to resale. Click. And now I can submit him as the person. So now if I go back to the actual view cart page, it'll say, hey, this guy's resale. It's just a reminder, okay? But it does not automatically flip it. So watch this. Say I added some seeds or something. I don't even know if seeds are in here. Okay, let's just do some tomato seeds. And say you wanted 3 packs of those. Okay? So right here, couple things. One, you see how this says taxable right here? And this says resale? It doesn't automatically flip it. Also, the other piece of the puzzle, remember how I said once there's more than 3, you get the bulk changer deal? Like, literally, if you wanted to change any of these pieces, you could literally go, cool. Like, it just allows you to flip it to whatever you need it to do in bulk. Okay? So let's put everything to, actually, I'm going to go like this. I haven't done anything. I'm just going to hit refresh, which will basically reassign it to what it was. If this guy is resale, and I go to hit checkout, there will be an error message, not an error message, but kind of like a warning. Hey, just so you know, this guy's under resale, but I see something taxable. Like all it does is just kind of a warning system, and it's because every state doesn't follow all the rules, okay? So if I hit checkout right here, this is a new little thing that you've probably never seen before, okay? It says, caution, tax withholding, information, you know, like, hey, according to the system, your current has a tax category reminder setting of resale. Just for your information, current cart is showing 33 cents in tax. Okay, like, it's kind of trying to help you. Like, some people, they blaze through this page so fast they don't even read it, but we're trying to kind of, hey, just so you know, it's a different color. It's in your error warning color. So watch this. See how this little message is right here? If I hit back and I flip this to resale, and then I hit update the cart, and then I go to hit the checkout page, I won't see that error message at all. Okay? We are trying to help you, but it is just a reminder because it just doesn't work with all the states, and so that's kind of what's going on there. Okay. We are aware of it, but that's how we have to play. So good call, good call. Awesome. So let's say that he wants to check out. He owes us $68. You said put this on account. Is that correct, Santi? Mm-hmm. Okay. So technically what on account does is I like to use this little button because it's fast. Okay. You just click it and it changes this value to 0 and this one to on account and says let's continue. Okay. So that means the whole ticket is going to be on account where he's still going to owe us the whole piece. Now the cool thing is once we create the invoice and it's all set and dated and stamped, if I actually go to the receivables homepage, I'm going to go home for just, here's physically the invoice. If I click home and I say, why don't you show me the receivables homepage, which is who owes me money? Will Smith has one invoice outstanding. He owes me $68.04. Currently he has 0 payments, and it starts aging that as far as like what's the date range is on it. Okay? If we wanted to do another one for Will Smith, let's do this. Watch this. Let's go back to Will Smith's log, and I'm going to say invoices year to date. I'm going to find that last one that we did. It happened to be 6. I'm going to hit printable. I'm going to say, come up here. Why don't we duplicate this one just so we can have something fun to play with, okay? Here's some of this, and this time he's not going to get the discount. And I'll just say update the cart. It's still going to remember all the rest of my settings. So this is going to just give me a different value. Hit checkout.
Add a line item to that.
Sure, absolutely. Watch this. Like, as long as you haven't checked out, like physically said, create the invoice, your cart's still open. You can come right back in here and add it to it. So what item would you like to add?
Okay, could just add some more flats.
Okay, great, great. I'll just put in flat. Hello, Roxanne, how you doing? Good, good. Okay, so we'll just add a couple. So it looks like they're pretty cheap. They're $1 a piece. What do you want?
50.
50 of those? Okay. 50 of those and 50 of these, just for fun. We'll hit add. Okay, so here's his new order. It's going to be $182. Okay, so we'll hit checkout. And once again, oh, here's my little caution. Looks like to me it didn't flip everything. I'll just come right back here and say resale. Okay, and then I have to kind of say update cart, make it stick. Okay, if you don't hit the update cart, it's kind of, it just assumes you're playing. It doesn't really. You have to think of the server, okay, because you have to, because this is a web app, you basically have to say, I'm going to crunch up the data, I'm going to throw it over to the server's going to get it and respond back with an answer, okay? But if you don't do that, the server has no clue what's actually happening. You're just locally playing or typing or hitting backspace. It doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't monitor every single change, just when you actually submit it. So right here, we'll hit checkout. We'll put this one on account as well. Okay, just so you know, it's already kind of doing like this. Hey, just so you know, he already currently owes me $68. Okay.
What
Yes.
if on your invoice you have, after 30 days, there's a 1.5% markup on anything over 30 days. Once that hits 30 days, will it remind you that this invoice is past due?
No, what happens there is basically we're going to get into statements, okay?
Okay.
So what you would do there is that would be manually that you would add in above and beyond kind of as a finance charge, okay? And then when you actually get paid for that, you create another little invoice to be like, okay, here's what I got. I got this through the finance charge.
Okay, so then you just created another
A little miniature invoice that kind of would help. Basically, you don't want to necessarily create that invoice for the finance charge until you actually get the money, because if you create it for month 1 and all of a sudden it stretches out to month 3, oh man, now I have to go change that one. I would just let it sit there, kind of say, hey, you owe me, you owe me, you owe me. We'll talk about statements in just a second, okay? So I'm going to click right here on account and continue. And so basically, once again, this is, I don't know if you guys like this or not. This is kind of the review process. Do you guys like the review process, or would you rather, like, once you do the payment, create invoice? Because there is a setting that we allow you to skip the step if you don't like it.
I like the consent if it's kind of that fail-safe where let you make sure that you can overlook everything
Okay, okay.
instead of hitting that the invoice so it's complete, then you have to go back and void the invoice and add something or take something off.
Yep. Most times, if you're creative, often you can do it so you don't have to void things. You can actually just add and edit and update things after the fact. Like, I try not to void things unless it's absolutely necessary, but like it is a piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to say create the invoice. So here's my stuff. Watch this. If we actually go and check out Will Smith's log entry right now, he currently owes me $243, okay, 14 cents. If I wanted to click on that, it would actually show me the invoices that he owes me for, 6 and 7, one for $68, one for $175, and their current ages, they're not that old. They're brand new, basically. But I just wanted to show you that it's already starting to basically put it in to Will Smith's entry. Okay, I can get to it multiple different ways. Say I actually went home and I went to my receivables homepage. Once again, this is who owes you money. He owes me for 2 of them for this much, and they're all in the under 30-day date range type thing. Okay. If we were to modify one of those particular invoices, it would actually, like say a different date or something like that, had a past date, and it would advance that ball depending on what happens.